The fake out down to 556 happened per our speculations, both live and on yesterday's thread of analysis. The jump to 622 has shifted momentum oscillators to favor the bulls. There are pretty heavy areas of resistance coming up, so let's dive into the charts to find what that edge could be for tomorrow's session. Welcome back to the channel on this Hump Day Wednesday. This is ARCa. Let's dive into FNGR. What is up, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. Let's go ahead and open up the charts here for ticker symbol FNGR. So what you're observing here is actually I think I did talk about this in yesterday's thread of analysis, but we speculated more on this during the live stream today, and we spoke about reaching, right, that 556 target that we were speaking of. It was actually a range of 552 to, I believe, 559. We definitely got that touch down to that bottom side, and if you would like to refer back to the live stream, then go ahead and do so, right? But we were speculating on the potential of creating yet again another liquidity trap, right, or a bear trap of sort, and using the take profit range number one from this right-angled triangle, right? So I think that we ended up taking it under consideration like this, right? It was something like this, if I remember correctly. So. No, what was our speculation? How do we get back down to that target there? I do believe it was either the center triangle, one of these targets that we usually focus in, right? But we noticed that there was that 556 down there. So we got that 556, and yeah, you can see here, price action rejected right from that area down there, and we actually got that pump to the upside. It was a very interesting upside too. During yesterday's space call, I believe it was with the usual people, right? So we actually spoke about me getting long at around 570, and it was the one of those not financial advice situations, right? But yeah, price action, and trust me when I say that, yeah, 570 was my entry, sure, but we actually faced a downside here at 556 before we got that recovery, right? So price action came up to 622, very close to the market close. And it looks, I guess, if we need it looks like we closed that after hours at $6.12. So that puts a lot of pressure to the bear thesis. So now these two moving averages here, this is the exponential 9 period, and this is the exponential 21 period. A very typical duo here, or pair, used for day traders, especially in the shorter time frame. So yeah, we ended up getting that EMA 9 to cross over the EMA 21. Very bullish stance, and please notice that the close of this candle here, the close of the 30-minute candle, is upside of the EMA 55, which indicates a continuation to the upside. Let's go ahead and move on to the next chart. So this now is actually this same triangle, right? Just notice that the time frame is from 30 minutes to 15 minutes. What I'm doing is taking into consideration these two candles here, right? Because there has been a shift in behavior when we're observing a right-angled triangle, right? Sometimes we get that failure to the downside, and I'm looking at this as often. So when it is a bullish formation, and honestly, that would have been the best thing to happen to this formation here, because during an uptrend, building this descending triangle or right-angle triangle is not the best thing for the bulls. So now observing this on the 15-minute time frame, you can see here that it would turn into a falling wedge from that upside, right? So now this naturally favors the bulls. So the center target right here, right, the target that's taken from the center of the triangle and then applied to the breakout, pretty much got resolved. It's 622 at the top. This was suggesting already 625. So I think it's pretty fair, right? I think it's fair enough for it to make that move. Now the next target to observe here would be the one from the back of the triangle to the lower part. So that target is actually taking us to 665, and please notice here that the one spot 618 is located perfectly at that 667. So absolute confluence there, right? So I do think that the court kind of belongs to the bulls in this case, seeing that we definitely got a technical breakout here and looking mighty strong on that way up. Immediate short-term time frame uptick in volume as well, so that's leading pretty nicely here with the with the price action leading towards the upside. So now moving on to the next chart here. This was the chart that we were using yesterday in order for us to determine that downside to around 552 to 559. This was that 552 that we were talking about, and that just happens to be the SMA 50. We came a little bit shy of that, right? 556, but I did speak about this in William's live stream just about an hour ago or 2 hours ago, to where we tend to get a little trigger happy as retail, right? And we end up pulling the trigger here just a little bit earlier than the actual take entry target, right, or long entry. So that's even the top side too, and it's entirely okay, right? It just shows that there is buy side conviction, and that's fine, right? So I want you to notice here the volume profile. We're getting a clean uptick in volume here, and that is pretty nice because we definitely want to see a continuation with this volume increase as the price action goes to the upside, as it would indicate that there is still buy side interest, right? So let's go ahead and move on to the next chart and see what we have here, team. Please notice one more thing here is that very critical target of $5.99 or $6 has been broken out of, right? Clean daily closure, actually not a clean daily closure. This is a daily closure upside of that $6 zone. We want a clean closure, meaning that we want another daily candle to close upside of that $6 zone without any wick exposing itself to the underside of the $6 zone. So as soon as we can get that, I do believe that would be a very bullish statement for FNGR or from, and it would introduce the potential for a continuation to the upside. Now, very simple outlook here. The only reason I have this circled here is because this was the take profit range that we were looking at for today, from yesterday's close, which was down here. We were in the fives. So today, we came up very close to the target that we were looking at for a top side today, right? So we had the range between 615 and 638 with a focused range at about 625. As you can see, we got 622 here, so our thesis was proved pretty okay. Upon this top side of the wick, we came down, and we have printed now bullish engulfing, right? So this is the green candle engulfing the prior red one, right? So it's definitely needed and called for when that forward candle engulfs the prior red one, and that would indicate a continuation to the upside. So this is looking not bad, and it's already giving us indications of that, right? So let's move on to the next chart here, because there are several short-term time frame signals that are giving us that hint for a continuation to the upside. Now, you know what? I guess we can just talk about this real quick. This is the weekly time frame for FNGR, and you're noticing here that this is the SMA 10, the 10-day simple moving average. And this was one of the reasons that we would suggest that we would come back down to those lower targets, right? So this was the SMA 10 was located at 562 yesterday. And that's, that was one of the reasons that we would suggest that maybe we're not ready for a continuation to the downside, right? So maybe we're trying to make sure that we can close weekly candles upside of this weekly chart, SMA 10. So if we can do that, that'd be great. So 1 day and 15 hours left for this candle closure to happen, which means that by the end of the session, Friday, we would get this weekly closure, hopefully upside of that $5.66 zone. We're currently sitting at 610. Right, so yeah, that's looking not bad, and I do believe that we should keep an eye on it because, that's just how things go. So now, hourly time frame, ARCa, right? So this was one of the algorithms that we released. It fired a long signal down here at 583. So if we were to have followed the ARMOR indicator or the strategy, we would be in the money currently right now by, let's see, we can actually measure that right now, right? So it looks like we would be in the money just about 5%. And at some point, we were actually in the money at about 6.71% when it reached that 622. So not bad whatsoever, right, team? So let me just go ahead and draw some attention here to those who are still watching, right? So about 16 or 17 seats have now been taken for the ARC Masters course, right? So please remember that I am only offering 30 seats for this, and it's been just about, over a week that I put this out again, right? So I was not going to continue doing this, but there were some concerns from from friends and from other traders that I know, and I would like to share the knowledge, right? So go ahead and get in touch with me to get enrolled. I'll go ahead and pass you the information for this 16-week mentorship course program, right? So go ahead and get in touch with me at arcmasterscourse at gmail.com. So let's go ahead and now kind of take a look at this, right? So these are part of the indicators that we just released from the ARQ series, right? So this is printing now an hourly bullish engulfing alongside that previous chart, 3-hour bullish engulfing. So now we have some smaller time frame signals everywhere, kind of signaling a continuation to the upside. Not only that, is that if you kind of observe here the armor indicator, right, you can see that when the bulls start to take control, we're going to start getting that mesh between that baby blue and this magenta color, right? As it continues to rise, then that baby blue tends to take over that magenta, and then it shows just deep blue, right? And that would be bull control. We're actually getting those indications right now. Please notice here that we are getting that shift in color, and that blend is actually starting to favor the baby blue side. So yeah, I do think that there is higher probability for upside here leading into tomorrow's session. Of course, anything can happen in the market, so we have to be careful, and we have to make sure that we can practice proper risk parameters or risk strategies, right? So daily time frame looks like we got that $6.10 close. So even still upside of the $6 mark, it's very difficult for us to get over that. And inversely, it wasn't so difficult all the time, but I have to say that we do respect it either way, right? Because that $6 mark is very apparent, and is also very close to the 50% of historical returns here, at least from that range from, let's see, July 2023 to present moment, right? So yeah, it's a difficult area for us to get over, especially since it's a mean. Okay, so now let's go over the final chart here, and this is going to be the RSI. So please notice that the 30-minute immediate short-term time frame is crossing upside of the SMA 14, and it's inside of the gravitational zone from the bull weakness percentile, right? So this is very good. Very likely for the immediate short term to get pulled to the upside here. So now let's take a look at the bi-hourly time frame. Okay, the bi-hourly time frame doesn't have as big or as an aggressive push to the upside, but it's still there. Definitely not something that we should ignore by any means. So I do think that we have a higher probability here to get that upside, right? So I am noticing here that my volume is slightly lower than normal, so I apologize if you can't hear me. But if that's the case, then we're going to have to make some adjustments here, right? I noticed that I usually get more gain than what I'm presently facing. Okay, so you know what? And then, yeah, now let's go ahead and take a look at, sorry, this is actually my interface here for the audio. I was just going to go ahead and double check what that mixer setting was, right? These are usually the volumes that I look at, and of course my preamp here. This is what gives me the gain in volume. So yeah, everything is still in the same place, and yeah. So okay, now the 4-hour time frame. It's looking like it's consolidating just a little bit here, but I would have to say that we still are sitting. Yeah, we're still sitting here right upside of the SMA 14 and looking pretty good. All right, so yeah, if we can continue here upside and using that SMA 14 as a what can I say it as a support, right? That would be great. So you think that the bulls are currently in that decision making time right now? I think we're at the brink of taking control. At least the bulls are, right? So notice here, very much in sync. We have that SMA 14 and the RSI signal still, it's still with an upside pivot, of course, right? But I would love to see this pivot heavier to favor the bulls, right? So now jumping into the 8-hour time frame, this is where we're actually getting some more action, right? This RSI signal is upside the gravitational zone. So there's of course, there's always danger for downside, right? But this is further away from that danger zone, right? It would be 52%, so it would be right around here. So we're upside of that, and this could be corrective, and it could be suggesting a continuation to that upside, right? So we're also getting ready to break a bi-daily regression here from the RSI. So that would be incredibly bullish. Seeing that the RSI signal is getting closer to the SMA 14 and the SMA 14 getting very close to the gravitational zone here, that gives it a good shot to actually not even use it as resistance. We may be able to succeed the upside in one shot. but that really is dependent on the immediate short-term time frame and, of course, psychology. Right, so that doesn't even beat to talk here the 3-day and the 5-day time frames, as they are still pensive or waiting for, yeah, I would say that just waiting for the ruling here from the immediate short-term time frame in momentum, right? So we'll go ahead and keep an eye on that team. Please remember that I am streaming every morning. I definitely came in a little bit late today, just had a little bit of trouble with my son, but usually in the live streams on YouTube by about 6:45 a.m. Pacific time. Okay, team. So that is probably it for the video. I think we covered most of everything here, right? Yeah, I mean, resistance, clearly we have to combat that 622, but yeah, 622 to 624 could be realized again tomorrow upon closing some maybe 30-minute or hourly candles upside of that 624. Then we'll start moving up to that 638 range in order for us to start testing that very top side. I do think that there is a probability for it, and sentiment here behind FNGR is certainly growing yet again. Okay, team, so yeah, please take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. I need you to do your own due diligence, and everything will be cool. With that said, team, I wish you well, a very good rest of your night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios, team.